at all these people on here. What's up, Adam? What's up, Brian? Skip, trying and doing, Connie. Oh yeah, we're on there. We're doing it. Hey, share this out if you guys got social media, man. I want to get some randos on here and blow it up tonight. I got a 5x5. Still not working? Oh, she's super duper laggy. Oh yeah. So like to freeze, huh? Okay, Skip. Gotcha. Gotcha, bro. Yeah, so my internet's been acting super duper crazy. So if for any reason it cuts out, you guys just let me know in the chat because I can't tell on this end half the time. But the wife's finishing up some dinner. It's time, so I might as well kick it off. And then Mr. Bob's gonna be on here soon. He's finishing up his dinner. What's up, Tim? What's up, trying to doing? Nathan, Cindy P, Shalom, sister. Yeah, man, we're what's up, Block 316? Yeah, man, we're just you can see the sun still setting this in my eyes, just a little, just right where I'm sitting, just a little bit. I'm gonna move because nobody's in here. Yeah, now we're talking. Just us right now. What's up, y'all? Remote Bear, Connie, what are y'all doing on there, huh? Yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, I totally needed like super duper rest. My sleeping tomorrow, hecka hard, because it didn't matter how many times, how many different alarms I set. I had snooze on all of them. I just was not trying to get up this week. But I was working solo, and that's been, I think, since I got older, it's been kind of a challenge. I'm used to having a helper because, especially when I'm doing like flooring or tile, once I'm down on my knees, man, I don't want to hop back up and down 100 times. Or if I'm on a ladder, I don't want to have to run down the ladder, or up on a roof. I don't want to have to climb down to go get something. I can just have my dude do it for me. And I'm gonna tell you right now, my dude that works for me right now, he's a beast, and I super duper love him, man. He's a go getter. Yeah, the Cubs are probably gonna act out again tonight because we got a pool, and I'm pretty sure they stayed in it way too long. I know my oldest one's roasted. Yeah, his skin was like purple. I was like, man, get out of the pool right now and go outside. 60 hours, yeah, man, that's dope. So sometimes I do 60s, but I guarantee you, close to 20 of it's like phone or bid or driving and getting material stuff. Yeah, I can't do the 60 on my feet, beating them up no more. I ain't made that well. I'm old. I'm burned up. I mean, I probably could do it if I had to, but yeah, I don't know, man. That don't sound fun to me. It sounds like a lot of ibuprofen and hurting kidneys. Yeah. I see my wife wandering around outside. I wonder if she's getting the littles all dialed in. So I got the old shofar out. I'm gonna blow a little show tonight. You guys got shofars? It just sounded like I was spitting through a straw for the first year or so we had this. 4,700 miles. Who did 4,700 miles? Oh, truck driver, huh, Skip? Yeah. That's like across the country and back halfway. Yeah, I don't think I done 4,700 miles on a road trip. I think my longest one's about 27, maybe a little bit further than that, but something like that. Yeah, I took the long way off the left coast a couple times just to see different parts of the country that I hadn't seen. Um, don't trip, CD. What's up, Justin? Mouse? My dudes? Yeah, almost Shabbat Shalom. I can still see a little bit of that sun. I probably got, hold on. I got about an hour till that sun's down. You got the lighthouse? Yeah, they give a nice bird for a long period of time. Alaska, man, I'd love to go to Alaska. They don't let me go through the Canadian border though. Yeah, they won't let me over there unless I sneak through. Oh, it's already Shabbat in Brazil. Oh, snap. Buffering. Yeah, dude. So it's lagging about probably 45 or a minute behind. And then, yeah, it's lagging about 45 or a minute behind. See what happens. I'll bring this thing down just a little bit. It goes really high up. Really high up right now. Oh, come on down. Come on down. There you go. Oh, yeah, that's way better. I'll get you this. Get you tilted just a smidge. There we go. What's up, Porkless Crusader? Oh, there's Bob. I was actually checking something out earlier, and you put me on the spot, so I lost it. I had it in my head, but it's a prophecy about yeah, and I'm waiting on the wife to get here. I still haven't eaten, so
I just got done eating food. I hope everybody's having a freaking great Arev. That their prep day was. Hope your prep day was not stressful.
Mine was. Yeah, mine was not. I had a good day today.
Brian Barnes, that's because you're a real one. You know. Bloodbeard, the medic patch.
We're back for a second. There we go. Yeah, we were buffering anyhow, super bad. I don't know why, but we were. Oh yeah, they did pretty good about that. Oh,
Connie, prep all week. It makes prep day easier. Based.
what's up, Lone Star Living?
I do want to share something if I could.
Send it.
We were talking about this Wednesday for anybody who's on the Wednesday stream. Shalom Hoot. Sobriety. It's not just a niche word. It's not just for people who are addicts. As children of Elohim, as followers of Yeshua, we are called to walk with a sober mind, right? And it's not like, oh, it says it one time. It says it throughout the entire scripture. So in the Torah, it says to stay away from drunkenness, right? Which is just smart. But in the epistles, after the Gospels, it actually steps it up a little bit. And I think that that's very important because, you know, we all want to strive to be walking in the way that the word tells us to, right? So if you look in Titus 2, Titus 2, which is page like 1164 in the scriptures. This is an instruction as to how we're supposed to act. And Titus is like, if you blink, you'll miss it. But Titus was a gangster, right? And so this is Saul writing to Titus, right? Kind of, and I mean, these are instructions to the dudes. Like, these are instructions to the bros that are out there doing the work, sowing the field, watering the field, all that stuff, and sometimes even preparing the harvest, right? So in Titus 2, he says, "But you speak what is fitting for sound teaching. The older men are to be sober, serious, sensible, sound in their belief, in love, in endurance," right? Now it takes it up. "An older woman, likewise, to be set apart in her behavior, not slanderers, not given to much wine, teachers of what is good, in order to train the young women to love their husbands, to love their children, to be sensible, blameless, workers at home, good, subject to their own husbands, in order that the word of Elohim is not evil spoken of. Likewise, urge the young men to be sensible. Show yourself to them an example of good works in all matters, in teaching. Show uncorruptness, seriousness, soundness of speech beyond reproach, in order that the opponent is put to shame, having no evil word to say about you." Right? And I think that's really beautiful because, like, dude, it's not just
Fire.
like, it's not just, hey, be serious.
Yeah.
Like, it's be serious for a purpose, right? Because the young men are watching,
Uh-huh.
right? And I would go so far to say the young believers are watching, right? So, like, even if somebody's, middle aged or they're older, even if they're newer in the faith, right? Like, we are to set an example for them. And Peter, and I think it's First Peter, says the same thing, because this book seems to always have a second or third witness.
Imagine that.
I know, right? Uh, I think it's First Peter says, "Be sober and alert, for your enemy, the devil, is like a roaming lion, waiting for somebody to devour." Right? And like, this comes back to even the women not given to much wine. Right? There's a reason that it's called spirits and mixers. There's a reason that, like, it doesn't matter if it's wine, it doesn't matter if it's weed, it doesn't matter if it's pills, it doesn't matter. If it's taking you out of clarity, right? If it's taking you out of, like, lucidity, we are supposed to train our minds to Christ, to fix our eyes on Christ. If we're taking ourselves out of that pure mind space, there's no way that we can be thinking the same way that he did. There's no way that we can be training ourselves to him. Like, kind of need sobriety to remain in covenant. Without sobriety, you're just twisting the wind, selling wolf tickets. Dang, dude, that's hardcore. That's super hardcore. But, like, as a guy who has struggled with substance abuse a good majority of his adult life, right? Um, like, understand that so did the disciples, right? And if the disciples didn't struggle with it, you know what Paul wouldn't have wrote to them? Hey guys, be sober. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't have mentioned it. It'd be like, hey guys, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
That's what he was not doing.
right. And so, like, there's a really specific reason that Paul brings that up to us, right? Is like, we are to be an example, right? Because we should be walking in such joy, right? Unrobbable joy. And we never want somebody to go, "Oh, the only reason he's happy is because he's drinking, or because he's smoking, or because he's, using pills or whatever." Like, that's how he copes with it. Like, our coping, not like, "Oh, dude, yeah, I gotta go grab a beer," or anything like that. Like, and I'm not saying, hey, go Mormon, right, and never have a whiskey or never have a beer if you're able to. There's a difference between having a drink and being drunk. But I'm saying, like, really pay attention to the witness that you're providing. Like, guard that witness, right? Because, dude, somebody's watching you, right? And just like in Titus says, like, let it be so that the opponent has no evil word against you.
0.
Yeah. Young believer is watching, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's not even the fact that I don't think that like I don't think it's like an inherent sin to have a beer. It's like, dude, why even put that stumbling block in front of me? Right?
Yeah.
Like you just can't have it. I rebuke the buffering right now in Yeshua's name. Like anybody who's struggling with buffering, I rebuke it in Yeshua's mighty name. Right? Be gone buffering. Like let us have a Bible study with the homies.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Bill Burr has a joke about fix everything and the wife can't complain. Yeah, super real. Kermode said 5x5.
Sweet.
Praise y'all, dude. Praise you.
Yeah. Yeah. How was your week, fam? I didn't get to see you.
It was good, man. It's just busy, you know. But it's
No,
like,
I saw you for like a second, and I was behind the scenes when you were live streaming.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That's all I said. I came in to eat some food really quick. I was smoking hot, and I wanted some AC.
Yeah, dude. No, dude, it was good. Just like one thing after another, which is good. But just progress. A lot of progress. A lot just moving forward, man. Good witnesses. I had a really cool thing happen. Maybe Tuesday night. Yeah, it was Tuesday night. I was like, yeah, it was Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, I'd like done a bunch of stuff. It's just a challenging day. Like I was just like trying not to feel defeated. And it's like sometimes you'll have bad days, but there's never like it's not a bad day. It's just a challenging day. And so like I went to go get some pouches, and it was like probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so my 3-year-old's like, I want to come with you. And so I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I like threw her in the truck, and we're driving and stuff. And it had just gotten dark. And I was kind of talking to her, and I was just like, dude, this is a challenging day. Like, praise Yah. Like, we're still going. Sometimes we have bad days. It is what it is, right? And I was just like, I just started praying with my kid, really brighten their day. If you tell them something like, I like your truck or something like that. And I just want to make sure you're having a good day. And I kind of just like chuckled to myself because I had been praying to the Father. That's what he's going to care about. If you loved him, if you served him, what did you do? I look at him, I said, a wicked tree cannot bear good fruit, and a good tree cannot bear wicked fruit. I was like, I hope you guys have a really good night. Be safe, right? Hopped in the truck, drove home. And I was just like this weird thing where it's just like, dude, a total moment. Like, we all can have these where it's just like little itty bitty moments, God instances, if you would, of just like, if you walk in the Spirit and you let the Spirit do things and you let the Spirit move in through you and you give room for it around you, like life is so much more beautiful. It really is.
Yeah. Dude, that's an awesome story, bro, because I have moments like that too where I stop and just randomly feel led to like witness somebody or talk to somebody, and it's like it's on me and I just can't help it. We were talking about this the other day, the dude with the sign.
Yep.
Just hit me, man. I couldn't get away from it.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, the wife's here. I'm going to let her jump on for a second so she can say hi to the peeps, and I'm going to scarf this food down.
Roger.
At least some of it. He's gonna at least try to get some of it. I don't feel like this is too close.
Oh,
I want to be all up close and personal.
Well, fix it to where you need it.
See all the details. Oh, sorry. Hey.
What up, El Pandita?
I'm gonna break it.
Turn it up if you
need. I attempted just disconnecting everything in the house from the internet, so hopefully it helps.
Can you see yourself on the screen?
Kind of, yeah. Hi.
You should fix it.
What's up, party people?
Oh, we're just kicking it. Skip DeGraff said, can you read James 2:20-24 and elaborate your take on it, please? I'm actually flipped open to James right now. No joke.
Do it!
So that's cool. So James 2:20-24, right? So 20. But do you wish to know, O foolish man, that the belief without the works is dead. Was not Abraham our father declared right by works when he offered Yitzchak on his son on the slaughter place? Do you see that the belief was working with his works, and by the works the belief was perfected? And the scripture was filled, which said, Elohim, or Abraham believed Elohim, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. And he called him he who loves Elohim. You see then that a man is declared right by works and not by belief alone. So my take on this is really, really simple. Like, you say that you believe, that's good. Even the demons believe, right? And so what does Messiah say? He says, if you love me, guard my commands, follow me, feed my sheep, right? All these things are action items, right? Go through all the nations, making disciples, baptize others, right? All these things are action items. And so, like, when you look at what Yaakov, James, right, is writing here, because it's so beautiful, because a bunch of people will use the scripture from Abraham and say, Abraham was declared righteous by his belief, right? We don't need works. We don't need to do anything because you'll be declared righteous by your belief. But this is literally a Yaakov saying, was not Abraham our father declared right by works when he offered Yitzchak his son on the slaughter place? Do you see that the belief was working with his works, and by the works the belief was perfected, right? And like, the Father desires us to do something, right? To do something. What it is, what he desires you to do is different than what he desires me to do. But he definitely doesn't, like, don't take your light, put it under a basket, right, and hide over there. There's still light under the basket, right? But it's hidden, right? We're supposed to take our light and put it up in the high room where everybody can see, right? And so people use this as a justification for keeping the Torah. I don't think that that's necessarily what it is. I think this is more a justification of, like, letting the Spirit have work in you and letting the Spirit guide you to do, right? Which is like the first letter of his name, the Yod, right, is doing, action, right?
Hey, so another part of that too for me, this is a wonderful topic. The other part of that too is what you're getting into right now. That's how your belief is perfected, because it isn't just obedience in the Torah, it's obedience in the Spirit too.
Yeah.
Because we worship in spirit and truth. How
Amen.
can you be in the Spirit if you're not having convictions and acting on them, being led? You have to. That's part of the fruit of your belief.
That's absolutely true. If you look at in James 1, right? My brothers, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the proving of your belief, and we know that belief has works, right? Because he says that in 2. He says, knowing that the proving of your belief works endurance, and let endurance have a perfect work in you, so that you would be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing, right? And that's the whole idea, is like, you guys ever like work, it's like, think about silversmithing, the testing, right, that happens. Like, there's this process of being heated up and cooled down, and heated up and cooled down. There's action that's involved. Sharpen one another. Iron sharpens iron, right? You know, there's a beating of the sword that happens. There's action that makes you what the Father wants out of you, being perfect and complete, lacking in nothing, right? And I think people they'll read one scripture to where it's like, no man is righteous, no, not one, right? They'll read, all your righteous deeds are that of filthy rags, and they'll go, okay, I can't do anything good. Why even try? And it's like, well, it's not your righteous deeds. It's not your righteousness. It's his righteousness in you. It's his righteous deeds through you, right? And like, once you really accept the fact that, like, let his righteousness and his goodness work through you, it's not your righteous deeds, it's not your goodness, it's not your works, right? Your works are awful. Look at what Saul says inside of Romans, right? Saul says, that which I wish to do, I do not do. That which I wish not to do, this is what I practice. Oh, wretched man that I am, right? Who would save me from this body of iniquity, right? Like, your flesh is the worst. Messiah in you, the Spirit working through you. That's where the rubber meets the road, you know? And I would argue that when you're walking in spirit and truth, like Jode said, like when you're trying to focus on the Most High, and you're really committing yourself to Mashiach, like, dude, you're doing stuff. Like, you just are, because a good tree will bear fruit. A good tree isn't going to bear no fruit, right? Because if you bear no fruit, you're going to get cut down, thrown into the fire, right?
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Love it.
So I wanted to add, we have in Numbers 20, it's where Moses was told to speak to the rock. The people were like, I'm thirsty. And then he's like, fine. And so he's supposed to speak to the rock, I think. And instead he went and he hit the rock, right? Which worked last time. The last time the father told him to go do it, he said, hit the rock. So Moses got all mad and he went and hit the rock, which wasn't what the father told him to do, right? I think water still came out, but the father ended up telling him, because you did not believe in me to uphold me as holy in the eyes of the people of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land that I have given them. So his like disobedience and arrogance ended up like counting as unbelief. Right? Yeah. So like the father's like, hey man, like obviously Moses believes in the Father. He's seen many works through him. Like they parted the Red Sea, lots of things. He saw lots of things, but his like disobedience and attitude was still considered unbelief. And then where is it? Hebrews 4. I think Hebrews 4. Maybe not. I can't find it. I tried in a hurry and I couldn't. But it talks about they didn't make it because of their it says like they didn't make it because of their unbelief or their disobedience, and then it like flips it and says the exact same thing with the opposite word. Yeah. So like belief and obedience are the same thing. You can say what you were getting at, like even the demons believe. To say I believe that Yeshua is the Son of God, right? Like that's cool that you believe that, but what does your belief look like? What does it? Because if you're with him, if you follow him, like he said, like follow me, right? And it says in the beginning of the Gospels, they left their nets and followed him, right? Like they literally left everything that they had, their whole life, their career, and they followed him and they learned from him.
Did that?
And we're told that like, oh, it's works-based salvation. We can't. No. But there's another verse that says, don't quench the Holy Spirit. So we should not be extinguishing the Spirit trying to come and teach us what we're supposed to be doing by a man-made doctrine instilled in our brains saying like, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing that. You can't be obedient. Otherwise, you're trying to earn your salvation. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like, so I try to explain this to people all the time. You know, like I just had this conversation the other night. Is like, I don't do the things because to be saved. Right? Like, I do the things because I'm saved. Right? Like, that's the difference, is like, you know, why guard the commands? Because I love him. Right? Why work the fruits of the Spirit and let the Spirit have a work in me? Because I love him. Yeah. Right? Because me, little old me, stupid me, right? He thought enough of me to die for me, to die for you. And so like, what does he ask us to do? Very simple things. Like his burden is light, his yoke is easy. And we, you know, because a pastor or a preacher, right, like told us that we don't have to do that anymore, and that's just like a justification of flesh, right? And it's much harder to do the things of the world, right? Like dad gave us really simple instructions, like just follow dad's rules, right? Mm-hmm. And then he'll have you do the craziest, coolest, dopest things that you never thought possible.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, dude, Sister Kate's here. Shalom, MK.
He also made it where we don't have to go to the rock pile, like when we mess up. We don't have to be killed because he put a spirit in us to say, hey man, that's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, we shouldn't be doing that. And where the spirit can identify the spirit in others and bring us into fellowship where brothers can see us and in love in the spirit say, hey, that's not looking right. Here's the verses as to why, and then we can be like, "Whoops, my bad. Let's pivot, right? Like let's adjust.
Yeah.
Let's
Compassion.
I can't. I hear Ross all the time.
Iron sharpens iron.
100%.
It's not one teacher we have to go to the temple on Sabbath to go talk to. We don't have to go through the process of the temple. I mean, it's like it's so accessible. Like he has given us everything that we need to be sanctified, and that's like you're talking about the difference between sanctification versus salvation. It's like
Right.
with the salvation, like the sanctification is the result of salvation. You know what I mean?
Part of the fruit. Yep.
All right, so John 16 here. This is the Gospel of John, the 16th chapter. 1043 is the page. This is Messiah speaking. He says, "But I say the truth to you. It is better for you that I go away. For if I do not go away, the Helper shall not come to you at all. But if I go, I shall send him to you. And having come, he shall convict the world concerning sin, and concerning righteousness, and concerning judgment. Concerning sin, because they do not believe in me. Concerning righteousness, because I go to my Father, and you see me no more. Concerning judgment, because the ruler of this world is judged." Right? And it's like, you see that, and he goes on to say, he says, "But when he comes, the Spirit of truth, he shall guide you into all the truth. For he shall not speak from himself, but whatever he hears, he shall speak. And he shall announce to you what is to come. He shall esteem me, for he shall take of what is mine and announce it to you." Right? All that the Father has is mine. That is why I said that he takes from what is mine and announces it to you. Right? It's this idea of like, Messiah literally says it is better for us that he went away so that the Spirit could come, so that it could be indwelt in all the believers, right? Like, so that it could convict us concerning sin and righteousness, judgment, right?
Yeah. Which is Ezekiel 36.
Oh.
Ezekiel 36. I feel like I'm going to have to just read it every single time on here because it fits. It fits every single time.
Yeah.
25. Where is it? "I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean from all your uncleanness, and from all your idols I will cleanse you, and I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh, and give you a heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and be careful to obey my rules." Like, that is the new covenant. That is the promise of the new covenant.
Right. And it's like, oh, we're under the new covenant. Like, the new covenant is you have the Spirit of Elohim dwelling in you. Like, even more so.
Too? Yeah, exactly. And then who's the new renewed covenant with?
Yeah, Israel, right?
It's not with Gentile believers.
No,
Jeremiah 31.
And that's the whole thing, is like you've been grafted in. You've been grafted in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're part of the tree now, right? And that's like that should be an amazing thing that makes you feel great. And then at the same time, you should probably remember the fact that if the natural branches were removed from that tree, how easy is it to remove the unnatural branches? Right? Like, really appreciate that gift.
Also, hi, everybody. Everybody was saying hi. I missed it.
We reading the word tonight.
Hi. The way. Oh, man.
Striker Cade's here. Shalom, my bro.
There's so many people here. People are coming to hang out.
Let me see. There was one I just saw. It was like, "Cool story, bro. Show me your fruit." I feel like that's like so. Like, yeah, exactly.
That's like the whole thing. Oh, you're a believer? Yeah, cool story. story, bro. Show me your fruit.
Like, can you just imagine in a world where, like, the creator of the universe was like, these are my instructions for you. This is how I want you to walk out, right? And then the whole book is him like, man, guys, can't you just come back to me? Can you come back to me? Like, look, I keep forgiving you. I want you to come back to me. And then all of a sudden he's like, it's fine. I sent my son. He died. You guys just do whatever you want now. Like, you're all good. I'm over trying to discipline you.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
And then for the people who really loved the Father, like the whole time, the people who loved them were always the ones who were keeping his commandments, who were walking blamelessly in his ways. Like, these were the ones that really loved him. So to say, like, we just have to love God, it's like, yeah, but what does that supposed to look like? What does loving God mean?
It's in the way he prescribes, not the way we prescribe.
Like, the whole scripture teaches all of this, teaches us how to love him and how not to love him, right? Don't build a golden calf.
So, and this goes back to Messiah, like, there's a reason he was our rabbi, like our teacher. Like, he really did teach us, right? And he says it over and over and over again. Like, I recommend that anybody that is struggling, like, what did Messiah tell us to do? Go read John 14. Go read the Gospel of John, the 14th chapter, right? Because he says it plainly. He says it very, very plainly in there. If you love me, guard my commands, right?
Yeah.
That's
like, simple. And he doesn't say it once in there. He, like, drives it multiple times, right?
Yeah, it's nonstop.
And like, why? Because a bunch of people were saying, because a bunch of the nations were coming to know Yeshua as the Messiah. We're coming into this, and it's like, what do we do? So if you love me, guard my commands, right? And he tells the new believers, like, if you're a new believer, go sit in the temple and learn the Torah and learn the prophets.
Yeah, exactly. Why is that so valid? Because people miss that little point. If that wasn't important, why are they doing it? That's the Old Testament. Why would they do that? We don't have to do that anymore. Boom, right out. It blows your doctrine out of the thing.
You have the people who are like, he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. But his commandments were only loving God and loving your neighbor. And it's like, go through all of the Old Testament and then go through all the New Testament and see where literally everything he teaches is either like fine-tuning how they took the Old Testament, or he's literally teaching the Old Testament.
Yep.
Like, he's like, hey man, you think that you're better than they are, but like, you're lusting with your eyes, which is no different. You know what I mean? Like, you've already committed adultery in your heart. Like, he's not doing away with any of it. He's only teaching it and like not correcting it, because people will take that as like he's correcting that it's wrong and that we don't have to do it. But he's correcting the man-made doctrine that had been added to the Father's commandments.
Yeah.
And so for people, when they're like, we just keep his commandments, that's all. And that's the two greatest commandments. And it's like, why?
But you still got to do it the way that the Father says to do it.
Right?
Everything that Messiah said was from the Word. When he said, these are the two great commands, they weren't new, guys. They were inside of the Torah, right? To love the Lord thy God with thy whole body, whole heart, and whole mind, whole spirit, and to love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And on this hangs all the Torah and the prophets. And I recommend that, like, new believers, new converts, go and read in Luke, right, where Messiah tells the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, right? So Lazarus and the rich man. Lazarus is a guy who's dying in the street, old man who's dying in the street. Rich man passes by. Lazarus asks him for help. The rich man says no. He goes into this big party, this big, beautiful banquet. The Lazarus starts to die. He goes on to die. And at the same time, the rich man falls sick and dies. They die at the same time, right? And when this happens, the rich man wakes up in Sheol, right? And it's like hot and burning all around him. And he looks across this chasm and he sees that Lazarus is going into the bosom of Abraham, right? He's being greeted by Abraham, right? And he cries out. The rich man does. He says, Father Abraham, if you could just dip your finger in water and put it on my tongue, because the heat is so intense, right? And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, right? And he says, Lazarus, help me, please. And he said, no, you had your life. Lazarus had his life, right? Everybody made their decisions, right? And so he goes, okay, all right, if I'm trapped here, that's fine, right? He goes, but would you please just send someone back to tell my brothers about the way that they're living, warn them right now. And this is beautiful right here because it's like foreshadowing. Abraham said, if your brothers have the Torah and the prophets, and if they're not going to listen to the Torah and the prophets, no man being resurrected from the dead will tell them the truth, will show them the truth, right? And that's like, dude, if all of the prophets and the truth inside of them and all of the Torah and the truth and beauty inside of it aren't proof text for you, like how would it's hard to even understand who Yeshua Messiah is, because he is the Word made flesh. He is the Torah embodied, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's a hard one. It's a hard one for believers to like wrap their heads around because, dude, I came out of the Big C church, right? I totally get it. I get the arguments, right? Like Galatians 3, we're no longer under the curse of the law. I agree. We're not under the curse of the law. We've been given the Spirit, right? And like it's the heat's been turned up. It hasn't been dialed down.
Yeah, I mean, we're not under a rock pile, so.
Correct. That's the
Just
curse
saying.
of the law, right?
Yeah.
Like, congratulations, you have compassion, right? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
That's right.
What up, 12C?
So this one, John 8, 43, maybe? It says, why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me? Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I tell the truth, why do you not believe me? Whoever is of God hears the words of God. The reason why you do not hear them is that you are not of God. And that one's hard because, like, I mean, he's talking about him, right? I'm assuming. I probably should read it in context, but I'm assuming he's like, hey, man, like, I am the one that you've been reading about all this time, and you obviously don't even, like, believe the word because you don't recognize me, right? Yeah. But I feel like that can be very, very, like, the part where it says, like, those, what does it say? Pretty much, whoever is of God hears the words of God.
Yeah.
And you don't recognize them because you're not there. You're not his. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you can't understand even who Yeshua is, who Messiah is, what the new covenant is, what idolatry is, what freaking sexual immorality, like loving your neighbor. None of that we can know without hearing the words of God.
And this is how you know you're the children of Elohim, that you guard his commands.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, and dude, which is like dude, this is fire right here. So I'm just going to start at the top. It says, as to the coming of our master Yeshua Messiah and our gathering together to him, we ask you, brothers, not to become easily unsettled in mind or troubled, either by the Spirit or by word or by letter, as if from us, as if the day of Yahuwah has come. Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim, or all that is worshipped, so that he sits as Elohim in the dwelling place of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Do you not remember that I told you this while I was still with you? And now you know what restrains for him to be revealed in his time. For the secret of lawlessness is already at work, only until he who now restrains comes out of the midst. And when the lawless one shall be revealed, whom the master shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and bring to naught with the manifestation of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all the power and signs and wonders of falsehood, and with all deceit of unrighteousness in those perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth, in order for and trembling.
Yeah, you're not going to get an Amber Alert saying he's in the wilderness.
Yeah, if somebody texts you and is like, Yeshua's here, that's not Yeshua. I think Messiah's here. There's no thinking, buddy. You'd know.
Yeah.
Like, you'd hear trumpets playing from the heavens, right?
Bro.
You'd see him coming on the clouds.
100%.
JS Genesis says, sounds like the churches that teach Jesus did away with the law. You know, that argument can be made. What a responsibility we have to go and to teach and to preach to people so that they would not be led away.
Yep.
Because I went to those churches.
And you know what? So we have, I think, a big part with being Torah observant is like, we want to go and like talk to all the Christians, right? And there's other people out there. Like, there are still like unbelievers in like entirety, and a lot of those people are almost unbelievers because of the hypocrisy, because they tried church and they tried Bibling, but what they were getting at church wasn't adding up. So it's not even that they're they are an unbeliever, but only because they recognize the falsehood in it. You know what I mean? And so like here we could be like, you're not crazy. Like, you were right on track. That was just probably your discernment kicking in to like get you out of there. But like, we have like the lady at the park, this woman who I was all excited she keeps Torah, and I was like, oh my gosh, what a freaking small world, you know, like what a coincidence.
Yeah.
And come to find out, she's not a believer in Messiah, because there's no freaking way that she could believe that there's some Messiah coming that's going to teach us to do away with the Father's commandments. And so like there are people who don't know. There are people who literally just don't know. Maybe they've never actually heard anything. Like, I don't know if those people exist, but I feel like more people are just like rebellious against it because of the people that have poorly represented it. But like, for the most part, people just are like out. They're just out because it makes zero sense. And so we have an opportunity to be able to say like, yeah, you're right. Like, it doesn't make any sense. None of that was real.
Yeah.
You know, like, Yeshua Messiah did come and die for you so that you could be, like, clean enough to have the Spirit of God dwell inside of you so that you can learn how to walk according to the Father's ways. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, that was one of the hardest things. Like, well, now what? Like, I need to go get baptized. And they're like, yeah, we're going to have baptisms in 2 months from now. Invite all your family. It's a big church thing. And I'm like, no, I need to get baptized. Like, I got to get baptized. Like, remember the eunuch? And he's like, what stops us from going over here? Like, that was always the next step. Like, I believe, now let's go get baptized. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm hungry for this. Like, they're all just a physical, what is it? It's just a physical, whatever, of a spiritual thing. And I'm like, I have to get baptized. Like, I have to die physically. In my mind, like, I have to die, and I have to raise with him. And I know that maybe that spirit just comes right in as soon as you believe and all that. But for me, like, I needed that baptism, and I could not get any church to just take me down. There was a river right there.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. So I think that's a lot of the struggles that I had with the Big C Church myself, was there was like this gray area. And I did notice it didn't matter where we went, is they really wanted us to fit in a box.
Yep.
And I could never fit in a box.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, you know me. Like, I'm not that dude. Like, I'm gonna rub against it pretty hard, man.
Yeah. If you look at the beginning of Acts, right? A major conversion happens, right? So the 120 are in the upper room. The Spirit is then poured out. There's the tongues of fire happen, right? Everybody is speaking in these tongues, and then they're mocked because these guys are drunk, right? Peter stands up and he gives his sermon, or Kepha stands up and he gives his sermon, right? And I think it's 5,000 people come to know Messiah. And one of the first things that Kepha says, right, after like literally pointing out the fact that some of these dudes are the guys who killed Christ. Some of these dudes are the guys that literally put Yeshua to death, that mocked him, right? The first thing Kepha says, is there anyone that sees a reason fit for these men not to be baptized? Can we not find a body of water right now, right? Like, basically being like, hey, let's get this going, right? We need to put these old men down.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like, dude, I don't know exactly where Saul says it, but Saul says like faith comes by hearing. And if faith comes by hearing, how will they hear if no one goes and proclaims, right? If no one goes and tells, right? And that's what we're supposed to do. And it's like, who are we telling? Whoever the Father has us tell, right?
Yeah.
Because he came not just for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, but he also came for the nations, right? To fulfill the prophecies inside of Jeremiah, to fulfill the prophecies inside of, I think it's Isaiah too, right? That like this would be a gift unto the world.
Yeah.
Right? So that all could come in to the family, because the Father desires his wedding banquet to be full, right? So he's going to the hedges, he's going to the highways.
Yeah.
I'm not a box fitter either. Yeah.
Exactly, Tavar.
Yeah, try to put me in a box. I'm gonna probably break it.
What's even worse is that they try to put the Father in a box.
Mm.
They try to contain. It's like, here, we're just gonna keep you where we can understand you, where we can easily like. And it's like, as soon as, I don't know if anybody else has experienced it, but like there were times where I was reading past my conviction. So like I would read something, it would be something convicting, but I didn't want to hear it, and I would just like try to like convince myself to keep reading and just not acknowledge it. And I did that on one specific subject. I did that for a couple verses, and I remember praying like, "Hey, why can't I hear you? Where, like, what happened? How am I so far away?" And and then ultimately he schwacked me and was like, "Hey, man, I already told you, like, you refused to do that." And I was like, "Oh," and I like went out to my husband, was crying, and I gotta do this thing, and I don't like it, and I don't want to do it, but like, I can't read past it anymore. And I feel like there's that kind of like mentality that we're taught is okay. Yep. Like we're literally taught to just scan over these parts that are too hard to look at or understand. Like we're just like, yeah, it's fine. We don't do that part anyways. You know what I mean? And so like hitting the point where you're like, all scripture is true. So yes. How do we use that to be trained in righteousness? Hold on, reading. Shalom, Okie.
Oak's here. I love that. He says I can't even. On the Father, test it against the Word, right? Mm-hmm. If it returns null and void against the Word, if the Father's never going to ask you to do something or say something that goes against His Word, right? And so we got to be obedient to that, right? Mm-hmm. And then 12C, he brought up the fact that the first wave inside of Acts was 3,000, not 5,000. I appreciate that reproof, brother. The first wave is 3,000, and then in 5,000 more come to be saved. So it's like pretty gangster.
Understanding the Leviticus 16:1 fire and Acts 2 fire opens the authority and implementation of power. Dedimus? What does that mean?
I don't know.
What is that word? Dedimus?
Are you Blue Letter Bible in it? Oh, you're in the chat. I don't know.
It's buffering.
Yeah, it's always buffering. Hey, B, were you on the live stream where I showed this?
No, but I actually know. I'm tracking.
Are you tracking?
I've been tracking on that for a few years actually, and it sucks.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, be on your best behavior, please.
Yes, sir. I'll be back. Maybe they might be able to take me there.
Okay. No, we'll see. I love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye. Be good.
She's so excited.
Be good.
Okay, you be good.
We're having a sleepover. She's so excited.
Sleepover time.
Sleepover. I don't see Leviticus 16:1 fire, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe after the death of the two sons of Aaron as they drew near before Yahweh and died. There's no fire in Leviticus 16:1. You might be thinking of a different verse. I mean, dude, like about the flags thing, like
Hey, so the flag thing that I was showing you is it's all the Middle Eastern flags, right? And I would say 80% of them represent the colors of the four horsemen or the four horses and Revelations, which is epic. You know, it's not random that the colors are there for a purpose.
Uh-oh.
Endlessly buffers love from Heather and I to every single one of you. May shalom and the abundant blessing of Yahweh rain on you. May the blood of Messiah cleanse you and provide hope. So
Bless you, Hemi.
the buffering
Yeah.
is
Yeah, if the buffering's super bad, man, I apologize. Our Wi-Fi sucks
It
tonight.
says you have full Wi-Fi bars.
Yeah, it's just the Wi-Fi is geeking out.
We have nothing on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean the TV's not.
I told him to turn the TV off.
Oh,
I don't have anything on in there.
oh, they can watch TV.
I was hoping it was gonna help. Not today, Satan.
Big on buffering.
My mother-in-law, Jody's stepmom, she started, I don't know, some sort of knitting thing on a sign. You like make letters. Regular Christians, but as soon as we started keeping the Torah, she started getting like super duper supportive, and she would like text me on Friday night like Shabbat Shalom, and like we went out to visit once. Yeah, that would be a word that would make sense. My brain doesn't withdraw words very well.
Yeah, it's 0-0 here. Or Ben Valley said 0-0.
It's buffering on all my stuff except for on my phone. It's fine, and I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah. So I don't.
The enemy doesn't want fam with no power. Maybe, dude. But like, here's the thing. Like, I'll just be very frank. Satan is super overrated. Like, dude, that guy was created by my Elohim. Not terribly concerned.
Be the cause. Also, YouTube mega suckers.
Really?
That would be what it, dude.
Yeah.
Just what if.
A joint stream. Definitely possible. I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah, man. I not know. All I know is that it's annoying that it's buffering so bad tonight.
Scaff says, I taught my granddad how to use Skype. Only problem is I can never tell if it's just buffering or if he's having a stroke.
Shalom, Patty. And if we suffer,
Hope we didn't miss much. Just got in from weed eating with headlights on. Yeah, we're just battling with buffering at this point. We're just having a little buffering battle. So, yeah, no, it's not your phone. I think it's us. Look at. Oh, I'm on mine though.
Yours is way late too. You're lagged
anyways.
out. You're lagged out, man.
I'm not even on the Wi-Fi. How is this? Is this better or is this not better?
Yeah.
Better or worse? 5x5, no Bob.
Dang it.
5x5. Technology this reliable is why you never ride in a self-driving car. Yeah. Okay, please, at some point, deep dive into Leviticus 16:1 and Acts 2:3. Please consider several translations in the concordance. I'd consider this as important as life itself. I'm going to go scan that real quick. 5x5. Think so. Better so far. Did
Yeah.
not have problems on Bob's end.
Yeah, we didn't.
Me. Okay.
We didn't lose Bob. Bob had to jump off and go hang out with his kids.
Get the Shabbat on with the babies.
Yeah.
Leviticus 16:1, I think. Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Where? I lost it. Oh, yeah. I feel like that's
Slow,
a hard
Patty.
one to have out of context. Hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna stay on here and probably. I'm really hoping, because we got the phone vertical and not horizontal, that if we're on here long enough, we'll start getting some randos. Maybe not though, because I didn't put a. Geez, my brain's not working at all. I didn't put a little screeny, pictury thingy.
Thumbnail.
That's it. Good job.
Skip, I'm gonna make a note and we will look into that. Not on a live, because it's gonna be something we'd have to dive kind of deeper into understanding, I guess. So I will make a note of it, and then hopefully next Friday we'll have a better conversation about it.
Yeah.
Leviticus 16:1 and Acts 2:3. I'm not super sure what we're getting at there, but I'm gonna figure it out, because you said use different translations and concordances and all that. So I'm gonna figure. It's like a puzzle at this point. I'm not super sure what the point is, but we're gonna find it.
Yeah. So I'm working on a new truck deal too, man, which is going to be awesome. I've been praying about it a little bit with the wife. I don't know if I told you guys, I was super tempted the other day to finance one, and I just got that like kick in the teeth to not do it. Like everything lined up where I totally could have done it, and then it was like a hard no in my spirit. And I was talking to the wife about it. I was like, man, it's gonna be a no. We can't do it. This truck's a beater. And the way the Father uses my brain to like calculate stuff like that, he like he'll put it on me, and so not doing that, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna run this truck till the wheels fall off. And I've got it online, and a lot of people want to like trade me for other vehicles and stuff like that. And it's like, I just can't, man. I just can't do it, because it's not. I don't want to trade one truck that needs some work for another truck that needs some work. And I definitely ain't trying to trade my truck for a car. But Wrenches has been on here on my text messaging, trying to get his head wrapped around how to fix the wife's car. So I think we're going to be dialed on that one, because that thing really does run good. Maybe we'll get a year out of it or something like that. It'll be fine. But my truck, that transmission's acting up, man. It just, yeah, it's on its way out. So it's a time bomb. But I had a brother mention to me that I might be able to get a truck and a work deal with him, and I don't want to get into the weeds on that one, but it's the same. It's a Super Duty, just like what I got, but it's really in nice condition, and I would be honored if I could get that. If it's the Father's will and it works out, it might be in the workings. But again, the Father already knows what you need before you ask, so there's always that.
Sometimes you just have to be quiet and get out of the way.
Yeah.
Trying and doing. I have done personal studies on it, but I haven't done like a what's the word? Like a major one for like the channel or whatever. But I have recently been feeling like I need to go back and do a study on children, but in that it goes hand in hand with the study on women. So I may break that up into like, I don't know, parts where I break it up into women, wives, raising children. That way, the raising children one will kind of fit for everybody, not gender specific.
Hey, if you guys aren't subscribed to her channel, seriously, hop off really quick and go subscribe to Loud Presence. She's got some good stuff on there, man. If you want some like uninterrupted meat and potatoes, she's got the stuff for sure.
And I don't have a lot yet, but it's because studies take a long time. But as I finish each study, I want to have the ability, but I don't want to rush it. I don't want to force. I'm like, I don't want to force, I'm going to do a study on this and be all in my flesh trying to study it, if that makes sense. So as I'm convicted to do studies,
hey, Brenda,
I'm going to do them.
The channel's called Loud Presence because she's a little loud.
Yeah.
In her presence.
Where'd it go? Careful, it's 2024. Saying you blew a tranny doesn't mean a car broke down anymore.
Oh, shit. My bad. Yeah, that actually does mean something a little different. My bad. And that didn't happen, just so you know, just to clarify.
Is that how you spell it? I don't even know how to spell it.
Oh, I don't know. Is that it? Is that it? It might be so. It. It's right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's right where she's double tapping just to make sure. It's the proof text.
Let's just make sure I spelled it right.
Yeah. If you can't spell your own channel, you've got problems.
It's just the S and then the NCE, and is it a CENCE or is it a SENCE? Or loud presence. Super loud gifts.
Yeah, super loud gifts.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, encouraging community? Man.
Gus says not crazy about the phone this way, but whatever works for you is fine.
Hey, Gus, so the reason we're doing it like this isn't really because it's convenient or we like it. We actually hate doing it like this. But if you do the phone upright, what will happen is this will get bumped into some of the short feeds, and they'll see the live, and they'll jump on, and we'll get random people. And it's an opportunity for all of us, not just us two, but all of us to witness to people, because we get people that jump in that believe in the Big C Church, Yeshua, which is not, it's a lawless Messiah. And that's like, if there's an opportunity to witness, even just to plant some seeds, that should be all of our priorities, really. So for the inconvenience of how it's set up, if we get the opportunity to plant a seed, I'm down. So that's the only reason it's like this.
Also, I wanted to share these. I got these at the library. So I'm terrible. I go to the library and I pick out like 4 or 5 books, and then I bring them home just to see if I'm interested, and then I start them, and then I'm like, no, I'm not interested. But these ones caught my attention. This is called The Cities That Built the Bible. It goes through the archaeology, the history, like where the word Bible came from. I don't know. It's an archaeologist, I guess. But I mean, he's like, oh, well, I don't teach a specific doctrine. I'm not here to sway you one way or another. But then he's like, I'm going to use the word, like, he puts YWHW, and then, like, all the names are in Hebrew. And, like, it seems pretty, either way, even if it's not, like, a Torah observant guy teaching this, like, the information in this book is so freaking awesome. And I'm not really one for books. I would rather, if I'm going to take time to read, I would rather read the Bible. But these two, I couldn't not get them. And then this one is the murderous. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't like tag us for that. The Murderous History of the Bible Translations. So I'm not sure exactly, but it's apparently talking about the
sounds very negative.
The Talmud, but anyway, I mean, it's real though. Like the Bible translations have been.
They don't murder.
Devoured.
There's a difference between murder and killing people.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there is.
No. The Murderous History of Bible Translations.
Oh.
How the Bible translations have been just devoured.
I didn't hear the last part. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, no. We're not reading about all the murders in the Bible. That's like the whole Bible. But, no, I guess it's not. It's just a few murders. I feel like we're going to get tagged for saying that this many times. Maybe I should stop. But anyway, I'm very, very excited to read those.
Okay. We're going to have a good time. I figure we're about an hour and a half in, so anytime now we'll probably start getting some random people in here, especially if it's not buffering super hard anymore. What's up, Wrenches? Just talking about you again, brother. Hey, listen, if you fall asleep on the couch, bro, I'm not going to hold it against you this time.
I murdered a cheeseburger earlier. Does that count?
Yeah, I murdered a freaking big bowl of some stew stuff she made. It was fire. I know you guys could probably hear it on camera. I was getting after it. I was sharing my dog, too, though, because she's a beggar.
Yeah, that's what the tinging was. All the forks against the bowl.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sow all the seeds. Yeah, exactly. We gotta sow all the seeds. It went from 19 to 40 good stuff planting seeds. Yeah, honestly, it feels like when we do this way, some days, like if we have a late live, it doesn't, like nothing happens. But if we start, like, I guess on time for whatever on time is for this organized event, super professional and organized.
Yeah.
On time and up and down will usually lead to like about an hour and a half in. People probably because they're in bed. People are like laying in bed and they're scrolling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they just come across stuff. But
yeah, I usually have a blast with it.
I think it's I really think it's like a good opportunity for us to almost like apologetics or evangelism or whatever to like kind of fine tune our understandings and like make sure that it, like if people are asking questions that we actually understand the answers. You know what I mean? Like there's hard questions that people ask and like it's like are we going to just be kind of like them and say like well no that's not true because look at this, or are we going to be able to provide an actual explanation and understanding for it? You know what I mean?
Some depth and weight.
So I think it's really good. It's like good practice for us. It's like going through if they were to have like a vendor event and you were to just set up a table and like try to evangelize, like it would really test your understanding and like you would go home and be like, you know what? I didn't have an answer for that. I need to look into that. And I think it's really good for all of us to kind of keep sharpened, maybe. Although I did miss the one live we did that one night that was like when we were at my mom's and it was like just going crazy. There was like a Jewish dude in there that was like pretty much asking if Yeshua like covers him too. You know what I mean? And I didn't notice until I went back because there were so many comments we weren't able to see them all. And I wanted to just be like, yeah, like he came from the lost sheep of Israel, the house of Israel or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you are the people he originally came for, but through you and him shall all the nations. You know what I mean? Through your bloodline was he born to bring salvation to all the nations.
Yeah.
So, big C churches seem to mislead. Please keep doing what you do and counter that as much as you can. Keep going low. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like when I was in the big C church, I wasn't really a big fan of mega churches, but we went because
I like music.
She likes the worship part of it, and it was good. It was good worship music for sure at the time. Now it's kind of like I don't want to put that in the same place that I'm going to worship the Father because it's not the same thing. It's more like a concert. It's not the same thing for me anymore. Not that you can't worship by singing praise music for sure, but it doesn't have the same meaning to me. And then the other part of that is the gray areas. If you ask about them too many times, people who don't have an answer in most big C churches, I found that they started taking offense, and they started saying, well, if you don't like the answer that I'm giving you, then you're not willing to submit to your elders.
You're just argumentative and rebellious.
Yeah, and so that really quick was a turnoff to me. It was like, oh, so I can't ask legitimate questions that you have no answer for scripturally, or if you do, it's just like a cherry pick verse that doesn't really conclude a matter. And even when I didn't know the way, I knew something was off. I knew there was too much BS.
Okay, from my perspective, brand new baby Christian, super on fire, but it was like real fire, right? And I I love music, and so I can't, like, when I go in, it's like, hey, I'm not quite there, right? But like, I like the big production. My mom was in a band. My mom and my dad, when I was very little, like ran karaoke. Like everybody in my family is super musical. I love big music, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to go find churches that had big music. And I didn't know enough. Like, I just knew that, like, yes, I need that forgiveness. Yes, I want to change my life. Yes, I'm done doing the way I'm doing. But, like, the church wasn't really giving me any that. And I would be like, oh, you should come to this service, blah, blah, blah. And he would come, almost every church. And he would come and he'd sit there for a minute. And then he would literally just walk out.
We buffered?
He would,
Should not buffer now?
They're probably on TV. He would literally just leave in the middle of it. And at one point I asked him, like, why do you do that? And he's like, I don't know, there's just something about it. I just can't do it. And in my mind, I'm like, it's Satan. Like, you can't handle being in church or whatever. And he literally was just like, he called it fluffy. Like, he's like, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's just this big fluffy, like, this big fluffy thing that's not real, you know. And I'm so new to my faith that I'm just like, but it's church, you know what I mean? Like, let's be a part of. And then they try to teach you, like, here, come be in ministry, come be of service to the church. Ultimately, they're saying, like, hey, come work for our business, but volunteer, like, for free or whatever, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's like, find your place, find your family. We're going to give you, like, some important role to keep you around, but then you never get food.
It is shofar time, homie. That's a good call, Mouse. You see that thing? About to get down. It's actually past that time.
It is past shofar time.
All right, I'm going to send it.
Send it. Sending. Yay. Shabbat shalom. Alright. Skip, I'm struggling for why. Did I miss something? Or are you just like irritated? Feed? I mean, the the bufferings? Or is there something wrong? Hold on. Me Too Bear got me into Torah and Travis the week before it. She was my elder. Yeah. I guess I missed a lot. We'll have to rewatch the live was working in the yard. Hold on, where did it go? Oh, there was another one that said, no, it's pretty much just buffering. Maybe Scav, I think, maybe deleted it. But it was like, yeah, no, it's just mainly buffering.
Yes. It's been epic on the buffering tonight, man. So, we had a blast the time that we were at visiting with her family, and they got on and they sang. And the live went for like 3 hours and 40 something minutes. And it was crazy because there were so many randos in that one, but the views on it were like 2,600 views. The views, I'm just happy that this type of talk reaches that many people, even if they just click on for a minute. Like on my phone, guys, when we're live, it'll give me a buffering thing, and then it'll say you're live again, or it'll say reconnect.
Or it'll say cannot reconnect.
Yeah, and it hasn't done that at all, which is super weird. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong.
I think I might have to connect something to it.
Do it.
Because I need to see if
it's buffering again, I think, because
I
had no idea. Are you on Wi-Fi?
No, I'm on my hotspot, but I can connect on the Wi-Fi really quick.
Yeah, do it.
See if it's better, or if it's just our crappy service.
We'll see.
Connecting.
It's
2x4.
running. Yeah, it's running now, but I don't know for how long.
Refresh. Oh, maybe it's working?
It's back, they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see here. Dang, man. It's like, what if we just go sit literally right by the router? Maybe we just, oh, something went wrong. Look at my comments. Something went wrong. I need that.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 by 5. Man.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. It's so weird that it's doing this.
The church is the bride of Christ. I highly recommend do not talk crazy about Yeshua's wife. I mean, honestly.
Whoa. Hey, homie.
Let's
skip. So there's a difference between people who truly worship the Messiah.
Who do exist in the Christian churches. They do exist
and
there.
People who are just there for the feel-good message and not truth. That are being misled. I'm not saying the people are bad. I'm saying that the false doctrine that's taught isn't truth. You know, because you can't have a lawless Messiah and that be a real thing. That's just not how it works. If you came into your biblical belief through that way, there's nothing wrong with that. But he requires us to grow, and part of that growth is discerning truth, and the refining is uncomfortable. I'm gonna tell you right now, it is absolutely necessary to keep the commandments, to keep the Sabbaths, to eat clean, to do all the things that the Father set apart people, his holy people, have always done, and that he's commanded them to do. But if you think that he likes false beliefs, he doesn't. He doesn't approve of that. And I think there's a difference, you know. And for me, the Big C Church is not the body of Christ, because the gate is narrow and few find it. The path is narrow, you know, and that's not a remnant. Isn't, you know, however many millions of people there are out there that claim they're Christians. That's not the same thing. There's a remnant, a very small amount of people that actually keep the way, because I'm not a Christian. And so we're clear about that. That's not my claim. I'm not a Christian. I follow the Bible. I do what it says, and I believe in the Messiah. If you want to call that a Christian, that's fine, but that's not what I claim. I claim to follow the way. I'm a believer in the Messiah, but that doesn't make me a Christian. Because
not Christian in the modern day sense of like,
yeah,
a Christian. Like when you say I'm a Christian, then people assume. What am I wiping on my face?
Hold on. Wait, I gotta say this.
It's a ball from my shirt.
Okay, so
trying to keep my mouth
there's
shut.
240 different denominations in Christianity. 41,000 different denominations in Christianity. That's not the body. That's not the church. That's not the body of Christ, because that's division. And so if you think that's the body, that's not it at all. There's plenty of people. Look what he did. Look what the Father did to the people who were worshiping the golden calf. They were his people. He just brought them out of Egypt, but because they didn't do what they were commanded to do, what happened to them? I'm gonna promise you this. Go read the story. It didn't go well. Read Exodus. It didn't go well for them. And that's my point, is that people don't work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Fear and trembling. Like, it's serious, man. You can't lightweight this thing, because it's not a nonchalant, oh, well, I did this. It's fine. It's okay. He understands it's grace. You know, he knows me. He don't give a shit what you feel about it. He cares about him and his ways. And that's kind of the point of this. Is it's not.
I don't know. Is it gonna work? Because I feel like
In a minute it will.
Okay, there it goes.
All right.
Hopefully it's working now.
Yeah, we were waiting.
Okay, so I was gonna share on this because I know people who are in the regular Christian church, and they are true believers, right? They serve the Father with everything they have. They live their life for Him. They use the Word as Scripture. These people are not who we're talking about. I am one of those people. I believe that when I had my come to Jesus moment or whatever, I went to a Christian church. At that point, I 100% believe if the Messiah were to come, I would have been there. Like, I would be with him. I would be a part of his army.
Yeah, Skip, you didn't offend us. I just wanted to clarify.
He's just, I'm gonna come at a different angle, because this is why him and I are together. We both have different views, and we have like, not different views. They're the same views from different angles, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, send it, babe.
Just for balance purposes. But like, I believe that I was I was safe. Like, I was walking with him. I wanted my whole life to be about him. Everything I did was for him. The only thing that stopped me from keeping the Father's commandments was people teaching me that you don't have to. So when we're talking about, it's not that we're mad at people that go to church. Some of them really do believe, like, they are doing the best that they can. They are serving the Father, right? Some of the people in the churches give 0 F's about anything in the Bible. They literally just want that little salvation card, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do, but they want to be like, look at me, I believe that Yeshua exists, so like, I'm going to keep taking my little salvation card for a spend. And that, I'm trying to word it properly. So like, here's the deal. We have Halloween. Most Christian people know that we shouldn't do Halloween. Most Christian people know that it's demonic. Most Christians know that it's like some sort of, like, it's not good, right? But the church teaches that it's okay. So they say, we're going to have this big Halloween party here so that we have a safe place for you to go celebrate Halloween, instead of teaching that we shouldn't be doing Halloween. And that is the big issue. It's not, there are people, even in Torah, realistically, there are people in Torah who go, everybody's on one extreme or another. You go in Christianity, we don't do the law at all. Oh, look, I'm under grace. Does grace give you the opportunity to keep sinning? No. Should we be trying to do better? Yes. Should we be listening to the Father's commands? Yes. So ride your grace all the way and do whatever you want. And then some people flip, and then they go all the way to the Torah without Messiah, because people teach them that Messiah did away with the law, right? So there's a balance in between grace and law. And flesh, well, not flesh and spirit, it's one or the other there. But like, we have this, when we're talking about Big C Church, we're not talking about every single believer, every Christian believer. But I'm going to tell you right now, there were, I could probably count. I don't have the time to go through it, but I could probably count on these hands the amount of real believers that I've met in my 6-year journey outside of Torah. It's a very, very few people who actually care about what the Father wants from us. The rest of them go because it's a popularity contest, it's somewhere to fit in. It makes you, it's like counseling, it's like a therapy session. You go to this sermon and hear this big spiel. It's a moment to just worship and cry for a minute, and then go about your way doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to answer some people in the chat.
Okay. It's not for us, it's a all or nothing thing. So either you love the Father and you walk with him, or you love the world and you walk with it. It ultimately comes down to, do you choose the world or do you choose the Father? If the Father comes to you, if the Spirit convicts you right now and says, you have to stop doing this because it is wrong, will you be able to stop doing that because you love the Father? Because if you choose anything over him, then it's not, what does he say? If you love your mother or sister or father more than me, then you're not worthy of me, or something like that. Like, we have to be willing to follow him no matter the cost, no matter what people teach us, no matter what we're led by other people. Like it says we must obey God rather than men, right? No matter what people say, we listen to the Father. And there are Christians who do that. But the teachers, not even, and it doesn't even go to like a specific pastor. I know there's really good pastors. There's really good guys who are pastors. It goes down to the fact that this,
a little while ago.
I think that we can probably be more cautious about lumping everybody into the Christian.
Lump them all together.
It's not, but I was a Christian, and I think I was saved then.
Well, I'm not talking about salvation. I'm just talking about obedience and fruit and what the difference is. Because, hold on, I got notes. Give me that piece of paper right there. So, I like Proverbs 4:2, and it's talking about like, I give you good doctrine, don't forsake my Torah. You know what I mean? And for me, there's so much proof text in the scriptures, all through the New Testament and the Old, to confirm that we keep the way, and it's not your way, and it's not my way. It's His way. It's the way we follow after Yeshua. We follow in His footsteps, and I think that if you can't get the basics, when you're just coming into this, if you can't get the basics all in one bite, that's okay, because I don't think we did either. You know, I think we started with something small, and it was just, we're not going to eat pork. And then after a while, we started just like learning that it was other foods too, and then we started learning about keeping the Sabbath and what the Sabbath looked like, and then it was tzitzit, and then it was feast days, and it kept growing. And so, you know, that's just part of it. This has become our life, you know, like this is.
And that to me is the difference between real believers and what you would call fluffy believers.
Yeah.
Because the real believers will hear truth and be willing to do it.
Be willing to search it out.
Yeah, they will be willing to look into it because they love the Father, and whatever people say, they want to do what's right by the Father. So if they hear something,
do. Most of us go all into Paul's writing because that's most of the conflict. Yeah, I hate the buffering tonight.
in a while we're just gonna have to like wait through it.
Yeah,
breathe.
It sucks. What's up, Tyler? Yeah, man, it's been a rough one tonight, man. I might have to go and steal some Wi-Fi from somewhere else next week, because it's just kind of a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer when it does this. Makes it hard to communicate clearly.
I am not a robot.
Or am I?
I think we're working now, though.
Yeah, I think we're working too.
I wish that we could Shabbat Shalom, Palmetto.
Hey,
I wish that we could just like, what if we just sat at the freaking, what's it called? At the, I was gonna call it the percolator. At the. Yeah. I saw a thing that said like people with ADHD end up playing a guessing game. It's like charades, but I have this word that I can think of, but I don't know the word, so I have to like act it out to try to get you guys to guess it. And it happens all, like we were at a fire and I'm like, no, this is a real word, like it's a real thing, and I'm like trying to get everybody. I had to call my mom, it's like phone a friend. I was trying to call everybody. It's a regular occurrence. I forget a lot of words, which is why I stick to the same words. Like after I'm done saying something, I'll usually go, you know what I mean? Like, I just stick to the same words because the other words, when I try to remember them, they don't withdraw out of the file cabinet. Go sit by the router. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not gonna work, dude. It's not gonna do it because I think the router.
Do we have Starlink? I don't know.
No, we don't. We have some other thing. Maybe we should get Starlink. I don't even think it's that much.
We'll just go to town and use the Wi-Fi's at the coffee shop or something.
Yeah, right.
Get a babysitter. No, not on Shabbat.
No, not on Shabbat. I think we're gonna jump on here.
I'll put my cell booster out the car. Y'all can borrow it for the stream next week if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that probably worked. It's really not. We're not even on cell, but I mean, I don't know that the cell's that great out here. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I switched over to iPhone, and the video thing is really good, and the speed of the phone's pretty good, but the cell signal is boo-boo compared to an
Is that the light coming down? I'm tripping.
No,
I swear. I swear.
Oh yeah.
That,
oh yeah.
Oh, is that
That's
Band-Aid?
Yeah, that's Band-Aid.
Ew, Band-Aid.
Band-Aid.
Here, go welcome him and then lock up the chickens.
Yeah, track it. I'll be back, guys. Talk
back.
to the wife.
Hopefully Band-Aid's coming in.
He's coming in.
I was like, we should just have like a little drive-by live one night. We're just like, hey y'all, if anybody wants to pop in, come say hi to the peoples. Ooh, except for I looked at the headlights and now I can't see anything. Starlink works great for us if you want to try that. Honestly, the internet was here when we moved on here, and I have no idea what it is or how it works or any of that. And then we just switched phones. So our son got us, like, he's a manager at T-Mobile, so he got us new phones. But since we switched, our actual, like, off of Wi-Fi, our cell phones don't really have any service out here. Like, as soon as we get to town, though, it's just, like, super, super good. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Come and say hi to the people. Oh my gosh, hi, you're here too. Hi.
What you guys are doing?
Hey, party people.
You guys are doing the movies?
Heyo. What's up? Gonna say hi?
Maybe.
Come say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Hi, people. Just show them your pretty hair. Just show them the back of your pretty head. Here we go. Say hi. It's nice. Hi. You did it. You did it. Yeah, that's the Band-Aid wife. So wait. What's up?
Not much.
Hi. I feel like we should
This is gonna be
No, Jody went to lock up the chick. You don't have to leave. No, this is a man channel.
Oh,
These are mostly man's.
mostly man.
The woman's
That
like
is male. No,
the
it's not
women's
male.
likes the women. Well, that sounds sick, but what I mean is that
It sounds like you're doing a pretty good job.
okay, let me see.
Okay.
But then I freeze up.
So what were you talking about? Cause
Starlink? Oh, I don't know.
You guys got a Starlink?
No, we don't. People are telling us we should get it because
Oh,
our
yeah.
internet
Yeah,
sucks.
that'd be
Oh.
good.
yeah, you guys kept coming
Is
in
it
and
a
out.
thing? Is Starlink a thing? You guys use it?
No,
We
we don't
don't.
have it.
But we know a few people that do.
Women's group
And-
Shabbat edition.
We know a few people that do, and I guess they swear by it. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I heard
What did you guys
Someone-
do?
someone say the Hebrew meaning of belief is doing. Just keep doing, and it will start coming together. We are still learning and try to do a better job of the feast. Yeah, honestly, that's kind of. I feel like we're gonna have to like. I wonder if we could if we rotate
No.
it. Woo!
I don't know what that bug is.
It's a moth, like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. What? 0 by 0. Yeah. No, we're on buffer mode.
Yikes.
Damn it.
Yeah. It's not even any.
Oh, it's so delayed. Oh no!
You thumbs it up twice.
Oh, okay, there it goes. Right? Is it on now? Is this thing on?
Is this mic
I think 5 by 5. Okay, there we go.
We're back.
Yeah,
We're back.
so
They never left.
I was gonna say back on the feast days. I think literally like our first Sukkot, we had no idea what we were doing, but my cousin was like, "Hey, there's this thing where you go camping." We were like, "Cool, why don't you go get another chair?"
Dude, we're not all gonna fit in that little tiny
I
frame,
know,
babe.
but still, I don't want to stand.
Yeah, I mean, look, he could just stand here. Look, he's my guardian angel right now. That's good. Yeah. See? Hey, if you guys haven't subbed to Full Throttle Band-Aids, what is your shit called again? I read Band-Aids.
Full Throttle
Please
Band-Aids sounds
Go
so
sub
cool.
to him. He's a good bro. I love his words of encouragement and
Hi, there he is.
and
He
his
says hi.
discernment. Yeah. So
Did you make your pretty skirt? No, I did not. I got it
yeah.
from the Goodwill, though.
Yeah,
I
go
get
sub to
all
him.
my
Hey, you
stuff
know
from
what?
Goodwill.
Watch this. And you get a blue wrench.
It's like magic every time
You
it
got a
buffers.
blue wrench now.
It's like magic every time it buffers. Someone different is sitting next to it.
It's not magic, dude. I'm pretty sure I got a spider on me somewhere. You
yeah.
like
I
my
was gonna
hair?
say, you know what? Flip it all the way back, because if it's to the side, have you guys seen Fifth Element? The guy has like the plastic on his head. That's what it looks like when it's all to the side.
Yeah.
Looks like the plastic.
I'm probably gonna cut it off, man. I don't know. I was gonna try and
It said
throw it out, but I just can't. It's making me nuts.
It said hit the thumbs up, which reminds me that I accidentally tapped my screen trying to make something work, and I just like ended up sending a bunch of likes or something. So it just thumbed up a bunch of times.
See, you got a wrench. All this time,
So-
you now have a wrench.
So go back to the feast days.
Oh, so the feast days, yeah. So our first Sukkot, my cousin said to go do Sukkot, and we were like,
Camp for
we're
8
supposed to
days.
camp. We don't
Cook
really
on a fire.
usually says cook on a fire.
I know, but that's what I thought he said.
But we, like, Jody was like, I want to take this, like, open trailer, and we're going to build something. He built, like, with the vinyl stuff for roofing, or hardy back. No, Tyvek, yeah. And he built, like, this little, almost cabin in this open trailer. And it was like, okay, we're going to sleep outside. But we had, like, zero preparation. We had no idea what we were doing. It was so hot because it had, like, no ventilation. There was no netting.
It was sweaty.
Yeah, we were, like, in a sauna, and it was so hot and humid. And I think we made it like 2 days, and then we were like, okay, well, you know what? We don't quite understand what we're doing anyways. We'll just go back in, and then...
We were already at a campground camping.
Yeah, we live in a camper on the campground.
We're glamping.
So we ended up, we were just like, well, I don't even know what we're doing. So, like, we did our best. You know what I mean? And then the next year, it was like, all right, let's get actual tents. Like, let's camp.
Dude. Hey, in the next 2 years in a row, every tent we bought was destroyed by a storm mid-Sukkot.
Yep.
Dude.
Yep.
Except for last year. Last year we did pretty good. Last year was epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
And our tent survived.
Yeah, our tent did really good. It rained, it stormed, and it did fine. But we got some Walmart tents because that's the kind of budget we were on. And the first one we did Sukkot with other people. Dude, we had 2 tents, one for us and one for the littles. They were both flat. And I like duct taped them up to kind of get us to the end of Sukkot. And then the next year was the first year I met you guys. Dude, I woke up at probably 1 in the morning and the tent was like right on my face. And it wasn't raining yet. It was just windy. And I'm like, kids, get up. And she had went home.
Because I had a stomach bug.
Because she had a stomach bug. And she had went home that night. And so it was just me and the kids. And, of course, a bunch of people. We were on some awesome property. And
so, like,
it's
go
called,
in your backyard in a tent.
So it's called Feast of Booths, which is basically tents, which is a sukkah. It's a temporary dwelling.
Yep.
And then there's traditional ways to make sukkahs. You can make them really pretty. If you go on, Tibosaurus Rex, during Sukkot time, he usually takes pictures of them that are just beautiful that he's put together. And then he's got like the dinner played out. It's like really elegant. I like that kind of stuff. I think it's really cool. But for me, I'm just kind of a redneck, and we go camping with all the other rednecks. It's kind of cool.
I'm not sure if this is going to work. No? That won't let people click on your name, huh?
No, you have to have a link. You have to go over to his
Oh.
channel and click on the link on his
I
channel.
don't even
and
know
then
if
come
that's
back.
the right link I'm supposed to be sending, but I think
It's
it
not.
is.
No, it's
Well,
not.
because Patty said y'all should go check out High Rev Band-Aid's channel. Somebody said, "Will you link it, please?"
Yeah,
Okay,
go. No,
YouTube.
you got to be on YouTube.
She
You were already on YouTube. Did that work?
I don't know if we can click on it.
You
So,
can. So when you go,
High Rev Band-Aid.
I'll show you. There's a little link button you click on.
Eyo, there's your face, guy.
So go-
I'm not even subscribed. Who
Go
am
on
I?
there. I don't know if you can do it
I
on
never
the
go on
thing.
YouTube. I'm gonna do this.
who are
Look,
you?
boop, Control C. Go over here. Boop, Control V, and boom.
Oh, there you go. You linked him.
Check it.
Linked him. Look, babe, look how professional.
Yeah. Oh,
There
look,
you go.
Patty already did it.
Yeah,
Patty already did it.
Patty's so fast.
She already Control C and Control V.
Yeah.
So she's probably on her phone, so she
Yeah.
probably just held it down. I don't know.
Yeah, Patty got it already. But thank you, everybody in the chat. Go subscribe.
Also, I want to say, every year we learn something new about whatever the feast days are, and we're just now at the point where we're like, hey, before feast days, like the season before, we know fall feast days are going to come up. We should be researching the feast days and gather and go over all these studies to figure out how, what other people have learned and how to kind of do it better. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I know there's been
Every season.
yeah, that we're
Every
always
season.
adjusting, always trying to learn. So, we just started doing Night of Watches this year or last year.
This is.
I think maybe we did it, but I don't think.
No, this is the third year we did this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that took a minute where it was hey, so this says it was a Night of Watch, and then it's then you return to your tents in the morning. Or we should probably stay up, and it was okay, let's do that. That checks out. So everything is a learning experience. Yeah,
absolutely.
I need a
Nobody's
fancy
ever gonna
cup
have it
with
right.
some branding on it, with buckets and Bibles on it. I need that in my life. That way, when I'm on the channel, I can just be like.
Oh my gosh.
But I can't do coffee time with you guys because somebody already does that, so I'll have to do something else.
And we don't drink whiskey, so
I'll do sweet tea with you guys.
yeah, sweet tea time. Oh, I heard a funny joke today. They said, would you rather eat a baby goat or a wada baby? Or a wada baby? Wait, a what? Damn it.
Oh, I've heard that one.
Yeah.
A matter
No,
baby.
no.
A matter baby. Would you
Real
rather
knee slap.
eat a baby?
I said, "What's the matter, baby?" And she goes,
Nothing. What's the matter with you?
"It was good."
It's a baby goat or a matter baby. And then they're supposed to say, what's the matter, baby? Okay. You remember when I said
Mom
the
jokes.
words don't pull from the files properly?
She has officially started mom jokes all over.
She's doing
We're
it
gonna
right now.
refresh.
Yeah, we gotta hit the refresh button.
That's
Lagging.
super viral.
Oh my gosh. Yes, on my phone, but I cast to my TV. My eyes are getting a little patty, sis. Okay, so she's still operating the other.
Did you notice how big my fonts are now? So I big boy. I went in the setting and I did the big boy things. I can make it where I read it now.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I did a good job. Yeah, I can see
He's
it now.
bigger.
Yeah.
Sweet tea Sunday.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
So yeah, we can do that. Yeah, maybe I'll kick you guys off right for your work week. We'll do a little bit of live, first day afternoon, Sunday afternoon thing, and yeah, maybe I'll cook some barbecue and we can party.
Tyler says, did my first Pesach and Shavuot recently. Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody has a first year, man.
Yeah.
And Sukkot's going to be awesome. If you just jump into the feast days on Sukkot, you're I don't know what I'm doing. But if you're getting, acclimated to things as you go.
It's definitely easier with people too that at least have a little bit of experience, or at least if you're messing it all up, you're not doing it alone. And I don't think any of us do it perfect. I think we just do. We do the best we can with what we got, And I know a lot of the feast days are memorials. They're not exact because there's not a temple, and a lot of the feast days, at least 3 of them, are supposed to be done at the temple, including Sukkot.
And Passover.
And Passover and Shavuot.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Oh, yeah, okay.
It's Shavuot. So those are the 3 that technically all the men of Israel are required to go to the temple annually. But
that'd be really expensive. Could you imagine like flying to Israel?
I'm taking
3
a boat.
times a year?
I'm going on a boat, so I'm gonna leave a little early so I can get some fishing in.
Medic Miles said, "Be careful. This channel might start growing."
Sweet tea shenanigans, good for any day. I like that.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and even Sabbath is the same. Like you start Sabbath, and like I feel like I share the same stories over and over, but I feel like they make sense over and over. But like when we started Sabbath, it was like, oh well, we're not supposed to cook, so let's go out to eat on Sabbath. And then it wasn't for a couple weeks that we realized that it says not to cause anybody else to have to work, right? So we're like, oops, like we're trying our best, but you know, like
we'll
then
get
we
some
started
Papa Murphy's ahead of time.
Yeah, and then we were like, oh well, we're just gonna do whatever, and then it's like, hey, it's a holy convocation, which means a set apart gathering. We should be like gathering, right? Like all the other holy convocations are days where everybody gets together and fellowships and stuff like that. And so it's like, oh, it's a holy convocation. We should be convocating or whatever. Like, so every
sounds dirty when you say it like that.
Every year, every week, you know. And some days it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like some days you get distracted by the world and your focus switches, and so some things don't seem as like bad or whatever. I don't know if that's the right way to word it, but like your conviction kind of like can slow down a bit. And so we'll get back to like, we're just chilling. All we do is watch TV. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, no, we're supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like we got to get back into that. What I'm saying is it ebbs and flows and it also grows. And it's a big words are hard.
I've used that line before.
That. I need the repetitive. It's just our first Shavuot, we actually came out here and went camping and didn't know what we were doing. Oh, our first Shavuot, we went to this campground and we had one friend, we met him at like a prepper meeting or something. It was like one couple and they went camping with us because neither of us knew what we were doing, but we knew we were supposed to be doing something. So we went camping. I keep saying that. And while we were there, we see this guy and this chick walking around the campground.
No, I can't. I need it. Okay, I got it.
Why? Oh.
I had to screenshot for a second.
Okay. We see this couple walking around the campground, and the lady has like a head covering, and the guy has tassels on. And we were like, I wonder if they're Torah observant or if they're Jewish. So Jody grabs his Bible and he like goes over to talk to them, and apparently they were Torah observant people, and we had no idea what we were doing, and they didn't speak very good English.
I was like, Shalom, and they're like, Shalom. I'm like, oh, hey, come here.
So they had to go back and because we were like, we don't really know what we're doing. So they had to go back, get their sister to come and interpret for us.
Translator.
Translator to come, and they were trying to explain to us what Shavuot was, and like, it was really cool because that was like our first time realizing that there are so many different ways of doing
things. A lot of calendars.
Yeah, there's a lot of calendars. There's a lot of beliefs in all of the like calendars, you know what I mean? And so that was our first time where we were like, okay, so what you're saying, I get that, but that doesn't make sense with this verse and this verse and this verse.
Shalom, Tommy.
We were able to kind of take that home, process what they had said against what we thought, and then be able to come to like a balance, I guess, of what it says. But anyways, it was really cool. We just randomly went camping and ran into some random Torah observant couple walking around.
Ran into some Israelites
who own a restaurant that is clean. Yeah. Matt is a map.
Something flying around in here.
Sticker.
Hey, leave it.
The whole roof just caves in. Water damage.
Okay, hold on. An encouraging community sense.
Hosea 1:10. God's people and Satan's people are numbered as the sands of the sea. Just a connection I realized earlier. Ooh, Hosea 1.
It's gonna be a good one.
Hosea. Where is it? It's one of the tiny ones, right? Amos, Joel, Hosea, 1:10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the place where it was said to them, you are not my people, it shall be said to them, children of the living God. And then Revelation 20, verse 8.
What's up, gas brother?
20, verse 8. And when the 1,000 years ended, Satan will be released from his prison and will come out to deceive the nations that are at the four corners of the earth. Gog and am I all right? Yeah. To gather them for battle. Their number is like the sand of the sea. Ooh. Satan will come out to deceive the nations that are at the four corners of the earth. Gog and Magog. To gather
Just
them
the
for
way
battle.
to say
The people.
the measurement is
because he will come out to deceive
beyond
the
just
nations.
like beyond. Yeah, it's just saying the measurement, the sand of the sea part.
Yeah.
It's just saying it's beyond what you can just count.
Yeah. He should go. He's going to lead the nations astray. So
He's gonna try
and gather them for battle. In which that goes back to Daniel. Daniel.
Yep.
Hold on. Please hold. I don't know where Daniel is. Why don't I know where Daniel is? Oh, it's right before Hosea. Daniel 11. I think. Yeah. At this time appointed he shall return and come in. Oh, verse 29. Or wait, maybe that's not. 30. We'll start at 30. For ships of Kittim shall come against him, and he shall be afraid and withdraw, and shall turn back and be enraged, and take action against the holy covenant. He shall turn back and pay attention to those who forsake the holy covenant. Forces from him shall appear and profane the temple and fortress, and shall take away the regular burnt offering.
Shalom, Brad.
And they shall set up the abomination that makes desolate. He shall seduce with flattery those who violate the covenant.
Ooh.
But the people who know their God shall stand firm and take action. And the wise among the people shall make many understand, though for some days they shall stumble by sword and flame, by captivity and plunder. When they stumble, they shall receive a little help, and many shall join themselves to them with flattery. And some of the wise shall stumble, so that they may be refined, purified, and made white until the time of the end, for it still awaits the appointed time. So, I forgot what we just read that brought me to that. What did we just read?
Nobody knows.
Revelation. Oh, yeah, because it went along with Revelation. And he's going to go around and try to ultimately deceive all of the nations to get them to forsake the Father and his covenant.
Get out of there. Come on. Sit.
And if you've read Maccabees, you'll see how like I wish Maccabees was in the scriptures, because it is very like when you read it, you're like, am I willing to do this? Like, because if this is what happened already, and the end is going to be worse, then just imagine like if they say, hey, like you got to eat this pork, otherwise you're going to be deboweled and hung in front of your friends, and then like the regular Christian people are going to be like, hey, thank you.
I heard her feelings.
Thank you for the pork. You know what I mean? Like they'll have no idea that is, what's the word? A problem. They'll have no idea that that's a problem.
I heard her feelings.
Who?
Roxy.
Why? You told her she's stinky?
Yeah, I told her she smells bad.
So she's hiding now.
Come here. It's okay.
It's okay. I'm feeling bad about having to work tomorrow. Okay. I never work weekends.
It's okay.
But time's getting hard. Kind of need to get a second job or work more. Yeah, honestly, I would definitely say, I would say pray about that, because it's one of those things where like if you know the right thing to do and if you know the right thing to do and you don't do it, for him that is sin, right?
Yeah.
So like if you are feeling convicted about something and it's something that you know you shouldn't be doing and then you do it anyways, it's like I guess what am I trying to say? Your financial situation, gosh, I'm trying to word it. But
if you're obedient, he blesses you for being obedient.
But if you walk outside of that, you can't
if
depend
you know the
on
right
his
thing to do and you don't do it for you, that is sin.
Right.
That's the
I
truth.
just said that.
That's the
You
truth.
can't depend on his provision while you're walking in your own will, if that makes sense. But we know that, like, when we walk according to his will, that he blesses our journey.
And yeah,
right?
Time's tough for sure.
And it is. I get that. Like, I get the financial situation, but like, there's no job.
He's faithful. If you are obedient, he makes a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you surrender that to him, it's like ultimately saying, like, I'm going to surrender this to you, and please provide for me.
There you go.
Versus, I'm afraid of this. So, hey, I'm afraid of my financial situation, so I'm going to go, like, not deny you, but I'm going to go. Why, babe?
I don't know what word you're trying to say, but like you go straight. So
Yeah. No.
Can I get my input in here on that?
Yeah. Apparently, he just left. I'm
So
coming back, right?
Basically, I've been there where times were hard. I had to get a job because there was income. So I this was before I was following Torah. This was before I knew to take my Shabbat, seriously. So basically, it's the father still provided. Like I stayed there for like 30 days. I didn't last long at that job because it was overwhelming. It was strenuous. I had a full-time job. I would go to my full-time job in the day, get out of there, drive to my other job, my part-time, and I would work until like 2 in the morning, get out, get home, sleep for like 4 hours, wake up, and go to my full-time job. And I did that for a month, and it sucked. Mm-hmm. It drained me mentally, physically, and emotionally. And in the end, it wasn't even giving me that extra money that I needed.
Yep.
It was just draining me.
Yep.
And I prayed to the Father. I was like, Father, I need you to help us. I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to get another job, and maybe this is wrong. And how do I do this? And then shortly after, we did start following Torah, and I was so glad that I didn't pursue or continue because it didn't feel right. And my husband, the father, took him out of his job because he didn't know how to leave it, feeling the conviction of don't work on Shabbat. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you should pray about it. Absolutely pray about it. And I know that times are hard. Trust me, I know. Life's hard. And everything is expensive. And groceries are expensive. But the best thing you can do is just be obedient and have faith.
Yeah, it's like fear or faith.
Right.
Like, am I gonna do this because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't, or can I have faith that if I am obedient to the Father, that He will provide a way where there doesn't seem to be a way.
And He will, because as long as you're obedient and faithful to Him, He's gonna make it all work out. And it might not happen the way that you want it to happen, or the way you think it's gonna happen, or like snap of the finger and it's okay. The next day everything's all good. He has to test your faith.
Yeah.
And you just have to be obedient.
And it says that we should be training, like, what does it say? And then it says, as you see the day approaching, like, there's going to come a time in the end where we're going to be, it says, He's going to be leading astray, even the elect, right? And so, like, we should be fine-tuning our faith. We should be strengthening our walk, because this is just the beginning. Like, if it's hard right now and we still can't stay with the Father because of how hard it is right now, there's no way we're going to be able to do it when it's harder than this.
And things are easy now.
Yeah. It's hard. We get
it's hard because, but things are relatively easy. Nobody's chasing you down and killing you because of
Yep.
You know, still
we're able to gather. We're able to talk
we're able
freely
to
on
do
here.
this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're not gathered in a cave somewhere worried that somebody's going to come chop our heads off. Right?
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe YouTube will get me through that. I'm not super sure.
Well,
but it is one of those things where, like, we've had situations where, like, the father was convicting us about money being an idol. And that we were literally living for money. Everything we did was about money. It was about the physical things, the material things. And at one point, the father convicted us that you can't serve two masters, right?
That's right.
And so there's that in the Lord's Prayer, he says, give us this day our daily bread. And then in Matthew somewhere, I don't remember, in Matthew somewhere, it says, don't worry about tomorrow, for today has enough worries of its own, right? So this all goes back to literally, like, give us this day our daily bread, because Jody and I, we went to the store once. We had just enough money to get either groceries or pay a bill. The bill wasn't due for a couple days, but we were out of groceries. So we were like, you know what? We're not going to be afraid. We're going to just get the groceries, because give us this day our daily bread. Praise Yah, we have money to get bread today, right? The bill that's due is not for a couple days. We don't need to be worried about that yet. And then while we were in the grocery store, some random woman came up and paid for our groceries. And she wasn't even a believer. So we've experienced where we try to be faithful. We try to do, like, okay, you know what? You said don't serve money. You said, give us this day, like, this is our daily bread. You provided our daily bread. And then not only did he provide our daily bread, but he also got us the money to pay that bill, because the woman had paid for our groceries. So now we have the money for the bill as well. So the Father can provide. It's just like, at what point of the creaking bridge do we, like, get scared and say, nope, can't do it anymore, right? So anyways, just keep walking on the creaking bridge. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Life may not look like the way that you picture it looking, because the way that we view things is based on a worldly standard. It's based on what the world has taught us is important. Yeah, they programmed us to see that if you want to be a productive member of society, you need to have A, B, and C. And if you do these things, then it's wrong. Or you're a homeless person, or, we're called DHS or whatever. But, like, realistically, like, when you read the word and you read the scriptures and you read the way the Father created everything, the way that the world teaches is literally because of the enemy. It always has been. It says here over and over and over. The ways of the world is of the enemy. So either we serve the world or we serve the Father, but they cannot coincide. It says those who love the world. Gosh, I can't remember.
I can't either, but I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Though the words are hard. But it does say something along the lines of, like, if you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you, or something like that. Maybe somebody else can
help
bring
us.
it up. But ultimately, like, loving the world and the ways of the world is against the Father. So we have to choose. Do we want to look weird to the world and, like, humble ourselves to live the way that the Father created, and maybe work harder? Like, working in, like, outside agriculturally is a lot of freaking work. It's way easier to go to the grocery store. But, like, the world has taught us that, like, you're sick, you go to the doctor, you get medicine. You want food, you go to the store and you buy you want fast food. Like, the fast food line isn't moving fast enough, right? Like, everything that the world does that is convenient for us is just leading us farther and farther away from the Father's creation. You know what I mean? Like, he intended to have food to be helpful for nutrients and medicine, right? But, like, we don't do that. We go take medicine, right? I don't know. Now I'm straying away. But my point is, like, you don't have to be afraid. If you are being obedient to the Father, literally nothing else matters. Like, this is where our faith is tested. Are we willing to choose him over what we think we need or what we think we want? Are we willing to listen to him, even if it might change our life in a way that we don't see, I guess, that we don't expect, want?
Don't be fearful.
Yeah.
Palmetto paratrooper said, no one can serve two masters, for he will love the one and hate the other. And those are facts.
Hold on, we're gonna look it up. The love. Hold on, we're going. I'm gonna look at that one verse. Verses about the love of the world. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Hold on, it keeps going. 1 John 2. Where did it go? Where's 1 John? It's in the back somewhere, right? Isn't it over by Revelation? Yeah. It's really hard for me to not call it Revelations, even though I know it's Revelation, but my brain wants to. Right 1 John. Oh, no, it's 1 John. Sorry. That is 1 John 2. 1 John 2. We're getting there, guys. 2:15 through 17. Oh, I guess maybe that's not it. I guess there is no more. There is more somewhere else. Hold on, we're gonna look them up because I feel like this is a very important. Like, it says faith comes by hearing, right? And so, like, we can say like, oh, faith without works is dead. But to me, it's really important to read the context of it, to actually read it with your own eyes, or to actually hear the verse being said, because it loses some of the power in all of the cliche kind of faith without works is dead. But like when you read the verse, you feel convicted, right? Yeah. So James 4:4, you adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. So that's like a big, like, do not Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So, here we go. Ephesians 2. And you were dead in your trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the up with him and seated us with him in the heavenly places in Yeshua Messiah. Thanks for coming back.
I'm just coming back to say goodnight.
Oh. Well, so anyways, don't be friends with the world because it's enmity with God.
Yeah.
Everything that we think we need is just brainwashing. Just serve the Father, love the Father. And he says, my grace is sufficient for you. So if all we ever get in this world is his forgiveness and his presence, that is more than you ever need in a material world.
Shalom. Sober party.
Material girl. Material.
Yeah. Well, I love you guys. I have to get off of here. If the wife wants to stay on.
Like, it's too uncomfortable.
Okay. So she's nervous. I have to get off of here. I have some company, and also I went outside and I got ate up by mosquitoes, so I got to go put some lavender on because evidently that hippie shit my wife uses, it works.
Really quick.
Really
quick. Added this. John 17, verse 14 through 19. Where Yeshua prays to Yah. He says, I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the world. Ooh, that's a good one. And then Amanda says, 1 John 2:15, love not the world, neither the things of this art that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Okay,
that's right.
That one.
Yep.
So, okay, so apparently we're getting off here.
All right. Shabbat shalom, y'all. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, sober party just jumped on shalom. What are we studying?
Oh man, yeah, you're late to the party, dude. But we got to get off of here. So, I got guests. It's late. We've been on for 2.5, I guess.
It says on the top.
Oh, look at that. 2 hours.
It says on the top of your dang video.
It says a lot of minutes. It doesn't give me anything else.
It says
minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
I don't math well.
Yeah. All right, guys. Shabbat shalom.
159 minutes.
Next time, y'all.